Gays Reading, where the greats drop by. Trendy authors tell us all the who, what, and why. Anyone can listen, cause we're spoiler-free. Gays Reading, from Pulitzer stars to book club picks, where the curious minds can get their fix. So you say you're not gay, well that's okay. There's something for everyone. Gays Reading.
Hello, and welcome to Gays Reading. I'm your host, Jason Blitman, and I don't have much of a voice right now, but that's okay. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. On today's episode, I have this really fun conversation with author Ariel Sullivan, who wrote the book Conform, and the food influencer Alex Snodgrass, who's also known as The Defined Dish. We have a really great conversation about book clubs and food to make at book clubs, specifically about Alex's book club Conform that she just had. You'll hear sort of all about how this episode came to be in the conversation. What else is there to share? Oh, I just announced the January Gays Reading Book Club pick, which is Lucky Seed by Justinian Huang. My episode with Justinian came out a couple weeks ago, and at the beginning, I say something about how it is not the last you'll hear of me talking about Lucky Seed. This is why it is the January All-Stora Gays Reading Book Club pick, and I'm so excited about it. If you have not joined, you could sign up. Your first book is only $1. The link is in the bio on Instagram. You could find us on Instagram at Gays Reading. And speaking of Instagram, we have an exciting giveaway going on that will, at least should be published at the moment that this episode airs. A giveaway of the next book in the Conform series, which happens to be a prequel called Beneath. So that giveaway information you could find over on the Gays Reading Instagram. We are on Substack. Currently, through the end of the month, you could join the Gays Reading Substack for 20% off. It comes out to about 13 cents a day to support Gays Reading. It means so much. And if you don't have the 13 cents a day, if you could go and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts, that is super, super helpful and gets folks to find the podcast if they don't otherwise know about it. Or just, share an episode on Instagram or tell your friends about it. Word of mouth is really how this little indie podcast is coming around, and it means so much to me to see that folks are supportive of the work going on over here. Next week is an exciting conversation with a sort of literary icon to close out the year. And then we'll take a tiny hiatus for New Year's and then be back in January. So next week is the last episode of 2025. I cannot believe it is already mid-December 2025. Crazy. Anyway, make sure to check out Ariel Sullivan's book, Conform. Check out the Instagram for the giveaway, Alex Snodgrass and The Defined Dish. Also, there's some more content and pictures and stuff from this episode over on the Gays Reading Substack. So check all of that out. Oh, so many things. Thank you all so much for being here. Grateful for you. And please enjoy my conversations with Ariel Sullivan and Alex Snodgrass. This is so fun. Such a special episode. This is like a December of interesting people doing interesting things with books. Last week, I had Dwayne Betts, who runs an organization called Freedom Reads, which is building libraries in prisons all across the country. Super interesting thing with books. And it just so happened that I was pitched Ariel Sullivan's Conform at the same time that I saw my pal Alex Snodgrass finish reading Conform for her book club. And when I replied to Alex's story about it, saying, I was just pitched this for the podcast. And she said, I'm so excited that it's a trilogy. And I said, it's not a trilogy. It's a trilogy of trilogies. And so Alex said, if you ever want to have someone on the podcast to talk about book clubs and meals for book clubs, have me on. And I was like, well, wait a minute. You're doing Conform for book club. There's a trilogy of trilogies going on, which is like the craziest thing I've ever heard of. So we should have like one big fun, what the hell is this episode conversation about all of this. And so here you are Ariel Sullivan, Alex Snodgrass, welcome to Gays Reading.
Thanks for having
Thank-
us. I'm so
yeah,
excited.
thanks so much.
So to, let's say, set the table, if you will, Ariel, for the sake of getting us in the mood, can you give us like the elevator pitch of Conform?
I can. So, Conform is a dystopian romance that takes place in the clouds where your worth is in your genes. And so, people are split up into 3 different classes. You have your genetically elite, your minor defects, and your major defects. And you follow a woman whose whole purpose in life is to be a vessel. And she is paired with a member of the highest level of society, but quickly finds herself drawn to somebody from the lowest level of society. And not only is she torn between 2 men, but also 2 sides of a brewing rebellion.
Dun dun dun.
So good.
Well, and not only is it juicy, the book, but very early on, it comes up that food is art. And I was like, how perfect. I didn't even know that that was a theme in the book prior to setting up this conversation. So, Alex, I'm curious, when you think of book club, because you just had a book club meeting where you talked about Conform. When you think book club and you are the foodie of the group, what is the feeling or vibe that you want the food to sort of create for the conversation?
So, for book club in general or Conform specific, or a
Let's
little
say
bit
book
of
club
both?
in general, and then
Okay.
and then how you sort of got
Yes,
to your menu for
sure.
Conform. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, first of all, I obviously like book club has been such a fun way to get all my friends together to read different types of books. We all kind of rotate moderating what we're reading, which is great because then I'll end up reading stuff that I wouldn't normally read. But then as we're reading, I feel like the book kind of speaks to me as someone who loves to host and entertain. And it's become such a fun way for all of us to get together that we all really love to kind of dig into the themes of the book. Some books obviously have more food related themes than others. Sometimes it's like a summer beachy read, and so we'll just kind of lean into a summery menu and kind of set the table in that vibe. Sometimes it really leans into food, and some authors obviously like really portray that as we're reading it. And so I'll be taking notes of the things that they're cooking and what they're eating, and I'll kind of lean into that as well. I also kind of what you said, like with the minor defects and the major defects, I also will kind of play on those themes by naming some of the things that are on the menu. And then of course the tablescape always plays a huge role. For Conform specifically, we kind of tried to bring the clouds to the table a little bit. Lots of white fluffy linens, and then we tried to also bring like a little bit of like moody eeriness to the table as well. So I had candles everywhere, like tall, melting long candlesticks, and also just like little short candles as well. So it just kind of felt moody and eerie, yet like you were still in the clouds and like kind of with the elites. And then we all wore gray, blue, or if you wanted to be elite, you wore white. We kind of
Oh,
went all out on this
man.
time because I
Love
felt like
it.
there was a lot of fun themes to play with. And then of course, like you mentioned, I thought the food was really fun to play with this one too, because of the way that food plays into plays into fertility and nutrition. And so I tried to kind of bring that to the table as well, and be playful with that too. We can talk about everything that I did, but that's kind of the overall gist of what we did.
So, Ariel, I'm curious. This is such an interesting, probably insight for you to get like
Yeah.
a scoop. What hearing Alex talk about her book club like that, what does that feel like for you?
I mean, I still think that someone's like playing a joke on me most days, and that
Yeah.
someone's like going to be like, gotcha. Because like I started writing this. I mean, most people do, most authors. You started alone with no one paying attention and no one cares. And then all of a sudden, like you get it into the world after all these trials, and then people are inspired by it or creating this. So for me, it's like so surreal and cool to just see it come off the page. Because I think that's the best part about any book is when you finish it and you're like, wait, I'm not done. I need to carry this with me in whatever manner it inspires you to do so.
Yeah. Are there, when you think about Conform specifically, are there scenes or visuals that sort of, how do I want to say this? That like for you are like, oh, I hope this inspired Alex for a dish, or oh, I'm, and so because I'm curious to hear what you have to say, and then I'm curious to hear what did inspire you, Alex.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I mean, I think anybody who likes food is going to be inspired by the chocolate aspect of this, because I did make that like a theme throughout. And like in general, you watch a woman who's been deprived of all food because they're given like mush and nutrients, and you see this like joy. So I think like any page that she's in the clouds, like the food really jumps off because you're experiencing this freedom and joy with her. And I thought that was such a great way to make the reader realize how much she's been neglected and sheltered. But no, I mean, like I love desserts. It's like my happy thing. And I also run on carbohydrates and sugar while writing. So like any of the sweets that were written, like I hope they inspired something.
You're craving them. Yeah, as you wrote. I love that. No, we definitely did. I did like the darkest of dark chocolate cakes to go as our dessert because I felt like that was such a big theme. The other thing that I did these are the things that really spoke to me as I was reading it. The tomato salad had to come to the table. That was the one thing that Colin always had to eat every meal that he didn't like. And that was kind of kept coming out. So I was like, we got to have a tomato salad on the table no matter what. And then I remember her eating salmon for, I want to say like one of the first scenes where she's, and like, I feel like that also speaks to being nutritious and healthy. So our main course was, so do you want me to tell you the whole menu at this point?
Yeah, let's do it.
For it.
Yes.
Go for it.
So do you want me to tell you the whole menu at this point?
Yeah, let's do it.
For it.
Yes.
For it.
So first of all, when my guests got there, I was just like in full conform mode. We all were. I have to say, this has been our most fun book club meeting to date. We just all really got completely just tied up in it. I feel like there's a lot of things to debate about and pick and choose. And so it was just a really fun topic. So when everyone got there, I had moonlight martinis served. So I made regular martinis, but I steeped some butterfly pea flower, which makes like a really purple color. And I put like a drop in every martini. So it's like shimmery moonlight.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm embarrassed
love
about how
it.
far I went, but like, this is who I am to my
Also,
core.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second to say that Alex sent me her mood board prior to this, and I'm going to include it in the Instagram post for this episode so everyone could see the mood board for this.
Cannot wait. I'm like jealous I didn't come, but like,
Hey, you're
next time
invited.
we can redo it.
Any of the other 8, you're coming, whatever one you want.
Perfect.
Okay, and so then moving on to appetizers, we were kind of passing around. I had like little caviar crisps. We called them upper tier crisps. And then I had minor defect meatball bites. So we had a little caviar bite, and then we also had these kind of like wonton inspired like chicken bites with chili oil on top that we called minor defect meatballs. So it was really fun to pass around and say that's what they were having. And then we all sat down, and that's when our mindful mains came out to play. And I did a fertile blessing salmon over forbidden black rice. And it was just like a nice oven roasted salmon, forbidden black rice. And I did this like moody, dark green curry that was super healthy and nutritious, but very flavorful. And then, of course, procreation, coconut lime, tomato salad. I just kind of brought in the coconut lime to help kind of tie together that main, but I felt like a tomato salad had to be at the table. And then we finished with a Reaper slice. Even though the Reaper probably was not eating chocolate cake, I just had to use that name somewhere. And so I did like a death by chocolate, like super dark chocolate cake to finish.
Oh,
and it
genius.
was so fun. So that was our menu. And then,
That
of
is
course,
amazing.
the table was all cloud-like, and we were all dressed to conform, impress, and it was super fun.
So it's funny that you say that, because as I was reading, I like wrote down some things that jumped out at me at like what would I think of in terms of food. And for some reason, I literally just put fertile blessings on my list. I have other things on the list too, but like that as a phrase, I was like, oh, this feels like something that would be a menu item. So Alex, it's so funny that was on your list too. I want to dive into something else in a second, but Ariel, I'm curious of what Alex said to you. Does anything surprise you? Do you feel like
How did I do?
there's something that I think was a missed opportunities? I'm going to give some feedback in a moment, but Ariel, I'm curious what you think.
I love it. I love good feedback. Constructive feedback is needed. No, I mean, I'm so impressed and would have eaten all of it. The fertile blessings thing, I love that came into play because that saying used to like keep me up at night when I was like writing this.
Oh,
So I was like,
interesting.
that's such a creepy like saying.
Oh, yeah,
And
we
so
were
I
all night.
Yeah,
saying
like, 'cause
that
it's
to
like
each other.
this thing that like you're telling women like fertile blessings, and it's like, oh, like it made me cringe. So I love that came out, and since I know the Reaper's, identity, I think that he or she might like chocolate cake. So I think it would have been a good pick.
Oh, I have so many thoughts on that.
That was such
We
a
won't
fun
even.
little Easter egg moment. No, my one piece of constructive feedback is I'm surprised there wasn't something that was half blue and half brown.
Okay, first of all, do you want to know what I actually did on Tuesday? So we met on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I had an eye doctor's appointment, and I actually asked if they had a blue contact.
Oh my God, that's so
I was going to
funny.
surprise my friends. They would have died, but apparently they do not have blue contacts just on a whim.
Just hanging
anymore
around.
at the eye doctor. But no,
That's so
I should have done
funny.
that. And the other thing that I kind of was toying around with is the mush that they ate. I was like, should I do like a risotto and then kind of tie in like some risotto at the beginning to resemble that? But then I just felt like I was going into too many different worlds. So,
Yeah.
And the
we
mush
were,
is just,
we were
I mean,
kind of
well,
part of like the elites.
yeah, I mean, risotto is delicious, but like mush isn't as appealing or pretty
Yeah,
as all the
for
other
sure.
things that you
Right.
created.
Doesn't
Yeah,
photograph well.
It does not
Yes.
photograph well.
So Alex, I totally glazed over who you are and why the hell you're here, but
We just jumped right in.
we did just jump right
Hey,
in.
I'm here
But this,
for it.
it's fun to sort of pull it up now that we've talked a little bit of food. So Alex Snodgrass, aka the Defined Dish. I am obsessed because Alex and I had the pleasure of meeting when my husband and I were invited to film an all-clad commercial for the Knot.com, and they brought in a quote-unquote food expert to teach us how to cook a meal as a newlywed couple. And Alex was the expert that they brought in. This was years ago, and you were established, but you are
I was
now
such
this,
a baby at the time. And it
You
was
were
like
a
my
baby.
first like commercial, and I was just sweating and panicking, and you guys were so sweet to me. But we
now
made it through.
you have 3 cookbooks. You have, I don't know if I'm allowed to say you have another one on the way. Oh no, you posted a
Yes.
picture about editing, so I'm allowed to say you have another one on
Yes.
the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
And a
thank you.
gajillion followers, and you are like the go-to person. So for the people who are perhaps unfamiliar, I don't know if you have an elevator pitch for the Defined Dish, but what is your elevator pitch for the Defined Dish?
You kind of covered it. I'm a food blogger turned cookbook author. I have 3 New York Times bestselling cookbooks, and my 4th is coming out in August of 26. And I love food. I love reading, and I kind of love to host and entertain, and that's kind of where all my book club energy gets channeled.
Yes.
That's the quick one.
And not to throw you under the bus, but obviously, clearly, things have changed. But back when I met Alex, desserts were not her thing.
They still aren't. The dessert that I made on Wednesday was from another creator, and I'll obviously link her recipe.
Oh,
We had, what was it that I had to make? Was it a chocolate cake? And it was like the most insane.
We couldn't get it out of the
fail.
thing.
Oh, and they wanted it to come out perfectly clean.
That's
it
really
was-
hard to do. Like I
Yeah,
am
we
a
were
big
like-
baker, but like with my kids. So when it doesn't come out right, I'm just like, throw some frosting on that part. Like
Yeah.
let's just
Yeah,
hide
that's
it.
pretty
So
much what we
funny.
did.
And if they had to
Love
like
it.
cut it out of the pan, put it back
Yep.
in the pan to then let
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
quote unquote stumble out of the pan.
TV magic.
Alex, when you just said you love hosting, you love book club, you love reading, do you have a process for coming up with your menu?
Okay, so this is what I do, and this is kind of where my mood board comes into play. So as I'm reading, I have a notes app open, and I'll kind of write down themes and things that pop into my head as I go. Some of them get deleted, some of them don't. And the ones that are super food focused, obviously, will have more notes, and then some, don't. And I'm just like, you know what? We'll just make this fun and beachy and kind of like a fun little thing. But I will kind of make notes there, and then I go to Pinterest. I pin my mood board and have a heyday with that, kind of how I want the scene to be set. And then from there, I'll create my menu. And I usually do an appetizer too. And I either do family style or I'll like have it seated, depending on what the menu is. And I always like print a menu, and I feel like I'm bringing back the old school way of hosting, and it's so much fun. And all my friends get into it too when they host too. It's really fun for all of us. And we rotate. There's 13 of us, I think, total. So sometimes when people don't like toast, I'm like, I'll do it and you can come help me be my sous chef for the day. And so we do that a lot.
So you're not responsible for the food for every book club.
No, I'm
Okay,
not,
good.
even though I try to be. I'm like, it's mine. I think at the end of the day, you can make it as complicated as you want or uncomplicated as you want. Even if sometimes it'll be just like a fun romance and we'll order pizza and have wine, but I'll put all the candles out and make it, feel like a moody, like, romantic restaurant while we talk about the topic. So I think you can keep it simple. If you're wanting to book club, like you don't have to go over the top like me. I am who I am. And I can't help it. I'm going to take it too far. But I do think I always remind my friends of that. I'm like, you can order pizza, we can order Thai food, like whatever you want. And sometimes that's a theme in a book. Like the boyfriend and her are ordering Thai food and watching Christmas movies together. And so it fits perfectly. So I think it's fun to read. And if it's the one that you're moderating as a book club member, to keep that in mind. Like if you're not a big hostess, like you can still bring in the themes and order out and have a great time with your friends and talk about a book.
Yeah. Is there something that you're like, oh, this always goes over well?
To serve?
Yeah. And it maybe not a specific dish, but like a specialty cocktail, right? Or this is a thing that is always well received.
I think a
highly
specialty,
recommend.
like when everyone walked in, because sometimes we'll just do wine and, keep it simple. But when everyone walked in and I was like, here's a moonlight martini and it was like shimmering purple, they were like, what the heck is this? It was really fun and it set the mood of like, this is going to be ridiculous in the best way. And so that was great. A signature cocktail to walk in is wonderful. I also think kind of depending on the season too, you can lean in on like, okay, let's make a big pot of like a cozy stew or, something like that.
Sure.
So I also think you should lean in on like the time of year that you're reading a book. Like obviously you're not going to be like reading a beach read in the middle of November typically. And you're probably reading something a little bit that goes with the season. And so I think you can also just kind of play with your menu based on that as well.
Yeah, that's so fun.
That is amazing.
Ariel, not to put you on the spot.
Okay.
But, well, yeah, to put you on the spot.
Yes, go for it. I'm ready.
For the sake of, we're talking food, we're talking the book, I want people to have a really good sense of Conform.
Yeah.
What are three main characters, if they were a dish,
Oh, well.
what would they be?
Love this question.
In terms of a vibe.
A vibe. Okay. Nora would be a chocolate cake, but like one that's like highly embellished. Like, those like Victorian ones with like the crazy details and all the piping?
Yes.
Like she would have all the bells and whistles. I could just see her like she needs the drama. It would work for her. Let's see, should I do Gregory or should I do Colin? You guys pick. Should I do?
I love Gregory.
Okay. I think
He's my favorite.
Gregory would be something that like I could see him being a curry of some kind that maybe is a little off-putting when you see it or like too spicy, but like you like it in the end because he could like, he just kind of is a jerk sometimes, like a good person, but I could see him being something that's like not for everyone but once you have it and like get your head around it and you understand it grows on you and you like it. I think Hal is like a burger. Like everybody likes a good burger and like sometimes you probably shouldn't have added the bacon or something to your burger and it's too much. But like at the end of the day, like you want one.
Well, now you have to do Colin if you did Hal.
Oh no.
I know. I was just going to say.
Colin would be, I feel like he'd be like a steak dinner and martini because he's like
I was thinking a steak au poivre.
Yeah, like always in his tie and stuff. Like I feel like he'd be something like fancy but approachable.
Interesting that Colin and Hal are both beef dishes.
They're both beef dishes. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I have a thing for beef. I don't know about.
Yeah, very classic. Thing for beef.
Hey, we all love steak and burgers.
Yes.
Yeah,
right. There's a time and place for each.
See, they're on even ground because there's no bad guy in this triangle. So I had to make them like, they had to have some common denominator.
That's actually like such a great representation, right? Like there's not a bad choice. It's just sort of what you're in the mood for.
Yeah. Because some days you want a burger and some days I want a steak and martini.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, it's so funny to think about characters like this in terms of
food.
meals.
That's a first for me. I enjoyed that though.
That was a great one.
Okay. Because this is a conversation about crazy things that we're doing with books. Trilogy of Trilogies.
Trilogy of trilogy.
Are you okay?
Blink twice.
Are you paying your therapist enough money?
I'm getting through. I think if my husband was on this, he'd have other words to say as he like finds me at 2:00 in the morning, like huddled over like my computer. I'm good. It's ambitious.
Yeah.
But the idea of not doing it scares me than the idea of knowing I'll be doing it for years. So like, I'm thrilled with the challenge. I have the story all mapped out the way I see it going. This cadence is fast and furious right now, but it's like to build rapport with readers to understand that, yes, I'm asking you to like trust me because I'm going from this to a prequel and then back. But all in all, I think they'll enjoy it. And as far as my therapist, they're my make-believe like characters. So like they're cool with it most days. Except for like last night when we're like at the end of the book and no one stayed on script and then I was panicking. But it's fine. Well, I'm fine. Kind of.
So how does that idea even come to you? How do you say, I have this massive story in my head. I know it's a trilogy of trilogies. What does that even mean?
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah. So like, let's be honest. I didn't like admit to my insanity off the bat. This started in COVID as a one book idea. When we all got those like tracing text messages, and my husband and I got one of somebody close to us being like, I tested positive for COVID. And like, then you have to do that like, do I have to test? Do I have to quarantine? And like, we were talking about that late at night in our kitchen. And I was like, sooner or later, they're going to invent these chips and there's going to be in our wrist and they're going to scan them and we'll know if we're sick or if we have a deficiency. Cause like at that point, everybody was concerned with their health all around, like whether or not you could leave or whether or not you needed to be vaccinated. And so I said that, I went to bed, didn't think anything of it. My son was like 7 months. He woke up at 2 a.m. I nursed him. And when I had woken up, it was like this idea in my subconscious had like exploded. And so I finished nursing him and I didn't go back to bed. And I started mapping this book out. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And I started writing it the next day. I got 3 chapters in. I was world building and I was like, okay, this is a trilogy. That makes sense. And I was like, I can do a trilogy. That's fine. I've never written a book in completion, but yeah, why not? Let's write 3. I can do that. And then I got 6 chapters in and I was like creating the backstory of this like last war and all this stuff. And I was like, shit, that's another trilogy. And I was like, okay, 6. I can hold 6. And again, this is like as a firm belief, anybody listening, it's just you have to be like, have the audacity to think that you can do the unthinkable, basically. And by the time I finished, this other trilogy had just skipped on out of the manuscript and landed in my lap. And I was like, okay, so we're writing 9 books. That's how my brain felt too. Just so you know, my brain was like, what?
How do you even know that it's 3, right? Like, and it's not just a chapter.
Look, I'm a firm believer, always give yourself room to change your mind or to change things. So like, who knows? Maybe there's like a 10th book somewhere hidden in there.
Sure.
But I think
I love that you went for more.
I know, always more. It's never less. That would be easy. It's just, I think as a storyteller and as I'm really learning my voice and how I tell stories, it's easy for me to see where things end in each one. And also when I'm drafting, I write the ending of each book first. So I write the stop and then I get there and it's kind of for me, and it could change and I'm okay with that. And like the first one in Conform didn't change dramatically, but I definitely made changes to it. It's almost just so I know there's a wall where that story ends.
Yeah.
So it's kind of chaotic. I didn't go to school for this, so I can't tell you there's any like professional like nuances or intelligence for me to give anybody or knowledge. It's just my insanity and how I write.
We love it.
I think it's so cool, and I'm debating whether or not I even want to say this because it sounds like a negative thing, but I like don't mean it negatively at all. I am someone who like will second guess myself and I will overthink a bajillion times. And I say all the time that I wish I had a touch of delusion so that I could sort of get the noise out of my head and like do the thing. And so I'm so impressed that you have that touch of delusion to be like, I've never done this before. I've never written a whole book, but here come 9. And I'm obsessed with that. And I don't again, I don't mean that disparagingly. I mean that in like a,
no, I
I'm
don't. I
jealous
actually
of
take that as a compliment.
Yes.
I take it as a
good.
compliment. I
mean it that way.
overthought everything in my life, my whole life. The reason I didn't write a book sooner is because like my interior voice was telling me I couldn't. And this book, when I started writing it, I was in a very low place in my life. And I think while that was horrible, there was like this pressure was gone because like I didn't enjoy anything anyways. So like, what did I have to lose? Like the worst thing that happens is I failed at it. Like I already hadn't done it. And so then I just adopted this, like you said, delusion. That's like, other people have done it. Why can't I?
Yes.
And then I had 2 kids who like were looking up to me and telling me what they wanted to be when they grow up. And I definitely didn't want to let them down by being like, telling them to follow their dreams. And this is something I've wanted to do since I was a child, and then not doing it myself, So I am still delusional and also still second guess myself. I can't tell you how many times during this manuscript that I'm working on right now that I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? But, you get it done, you figure it out.
Yeah, I love that so much. And it's just like a good reminder to like let the voices out of your head and
create,
power through.
Yeah.
It's going to be
So
crazy.
funny.
I need you all to trust me. You just heard my delusions. I need you to join the force and be in the delusions with me.
Hey, you've got 13 girls in Dallas that are fully bought in.
I love it. I love it.
We can tell you that. And we're excited. Like when we thought it was a trilogy, like this will be so fun when they continue to come out, we can continue to have this like conform identity. So whenever we found out there were a trilogy of trilogies, we're like, oh man, we're going to be in this together for a long time, guys. We were so excited.
It's going to be a while, but it's going to be great.
In a moment, we'll have a spoiler book club chat that folks can go listen to. I'll have it posted on the Gays Reading Substack. Go check out the deeper dive conversation that we're about to have. But before we do that, to sort of close out this moment of the conversation, first of all, I'm curious if, let's say there was a dinner party for, let's say the Illume had a dinner party.
Okay.
What are we serving?
Oh, I mean, I kind of want to know what Alex would make up for a menu. She's the one who's got it down. I think it would be a lot of small bites. I could see them having like one of those like Michelin star tasting menus. Like I feel like everything would be very like gastro inspired because
they lift up something and smoke comes out.
Yeah, smoke comes out.
Food.
Or it's like, like the foams and stuff. I could see them taking it almost too far where you're not sure what you're eating, but you're enjoying it. I see a lot of small bites, and I see them not actually allowing themselves to enjoy any of it because that's who they are.
I love that.
All right, that is Conform. Everybody check it out by Ariel Sullivan. It's out now, but very exciting because we are partnering with 1,000 Voices to do a giveaway of Beneath, which is the next book. Can you, I'm sure this is not practice, so I'm sorry, but can you give folks an elevator pitch for what they can expect from Beneath?
Yes, this is not practice, so we're all doing this for the very first time.
Yes.
Beneath takes place 200 years before Conform, and it takes you back to a society that's been ravaged by nuclear war, and everybody is dwelling underground. And you meet Sasha Cadell as she joins the force, and she joins a special unit that is attempting to find a way to prolong life and to keep society going. And she's battling tons of demons. She's a Spitfire heroine, so if Emmeline didn't do it for you, she will. She's guns blazing. Ask questions later. So you find as she finds her way through there, it's spicier, it's darker. It should be a good time.
Fun. I know Alex also has a copy. Have you started to dive in yet?
No, I was waiting till after this conversation because I didn't want to. You know how you read a book and then you read another one and then you're puzzled? So I was waiting, but I'm going to start it tonight. I'm so excited. Best surprise ever.
Comes out in March. Go head over to the Gays Reading Instagram, hosting a giveaway for that right now. Okay, so we're going to tie up a bow on this conversation, and everyone go check out the Gays Reading Substack to get a little bit of a deeper dive for your book club. Alex, if it's okay with you, I'm going to post your menu. If people
Yes.
wanted to copy the Defined Dishes Conform book club menu, I'll post pictures from the club's meeting. I'll post the mood board and the sort of additional conversation that you can listen to post your own book club meeting. All right, so
Love
go
it.
ahead over there. Well, this has been a fun, most random episode of Gays Reading. I am
Love it.
so excited. I think, book clubs are special. I think, books. I am a late in life novel reader, and I always try to make conversations fun and to have new and interesting ways to talk about books. And so I think if you are not necessarily a big reader, but you're a foodie or you're an aspiring cocktail artist, there are ways that you can sort of come to the table with a book in a new and interesting and different way. And if you feel like you're not necessarily articulate enough to talk about a book, you can talk about it through food or through just other fun ways as well. So I think this is just a really cool exploration of what that could look like for some people, and a great little blueprint for people to be inspired by. So thank you both for being here. Alex Snodgrass, everyone go find her at The Defined Dish on Instagram. Anywhere else people could find you?
That's where I'm at.
The best
got it.
place. And when we're looking forward to your next book in August, you said?
Yes, August.
Fantastic. Ariel Sullivan, you are also on Instagram. Anywhere else people could find you?
I dove into TikTok at 35 years old, so you can come find me there. Or I also
Good
have
for
a
you.
website that's up and running, so you can come find out there, and there'll be newsletters and different things starting to pop up there once we get it up and running, like fully.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you both have a wonderful rest of your day. Everyone go check out Conform. Check out the Gays Reading Instagram for the Beneath giveaway. And I'm so excited. Everyone share pictures of all of your fabulous book club meetings. Email hello@gaysreading.com and we'll post them and share them, because I think everyone should have these fabulous book clubs.
Fully invested. Yes.
Yes. Ariel, Alex, thank you both so much for being here. Everyone, check out The Defined Dish, check out Conform, check out Instagram for the giveaway. And I'll see you all next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.